Welcome back, ladies. We are so excited to have you at another Strong Women of God, Strong Women series here. I'm excited because we have Casilya Smith with us. She is a 3-time author, and she's also known as Sil The Writer. And I'm excited because we met through social media. So do you want to tell them a little bit about how you got connected with Strong Women of God?
Yes, and I was just telling Maxine that it's nothing but God. The great thing about social media, if you use it for what it's supposed to be used for, which is connecting and networking, I believe that because of the things that I usually search up, which is empowerment, inspiration, that when I went to follow a different page, it suggested Strong Women of God. And I was like, oh, wow, like I need to be following that page. So it was completely by faith and random. But yeah, here we are. So thank you, Instagram.
That's incredible. And so I started just looking through profiles too. And I was like, who is this girl? It's so cool. Her site, her page, everything. She's so official. I was like, I need to know who this person is. So I kind of reached out to her like a creeper and was like, hey, do you want to come on Strong Women series? So happy that you decided to say yes, and excited that people are going to get to know you here. Hey, tell me a little bit about your name. I was just saying it's so beautiful. What does it mean? Do you like it? Do you love it?
So now that I am an adult, I love my first name, Casilya. Of course, as a child, whenever you have a unique name, it's just like no one can ever pronounce it right. It's just butchered every time they call attendance. So I'm like, no, why don't I just have a simple name? But my grandmother actually named me and my sister. So my mom's name is Elisa. Lisa for short, and her name is spelled backwards in my name, Casilya. So now that I'm older, I'm like, I love my name because I can carry that story and that meaning behind it. And my mom's name is also my sister's name as well. So it's beautiful.
That's beautiful. And I just love the way it even sounds poetic. Sometimes people's names exactly say what they're going to be heading into and what they're going to be doing. And I feel like your name is one of those. Awesome.
Thank you.
So, hey, tell us a little bit about your journey with God. What has that been like for you?
Wow. So I'm very transparent. So if anybody ever starts following Sil the Writer or follow me after this interview, you'll see that transparency and vulnerability. I haven't always been here. Okay. A lot of times growing up, I had the mindset that good things are supposed to happen to good people. So when bad things would happen, I'm like, wait a minute. Why is this happening to me? I don't deserve this. I've been, pure. I've been, pure and gracious in my intention. So why is this happening to me? So for the longest time, I didn't know or understand how to deal with pain. I blamed God a lot. I was resentful. I didn't understand. But it took a while, and it took, of course, God's grace and patience, because I eventually got to a point, actually last year, my mom passed away very unexpectedly. And I felt like that was my moment to either do what I always do, which is run and ask why, like, why God, why me, why her, or turn to God for my strength, for that peace, for that meaning. And that was actually the turning point for me. The biggest loss of my life became the biggest gain because I found my peace and my comfort in God.
Wow, that is incredible. I love that. And so tell us a little bit more. So did you grow up in the faith? Is it something that came afterwards? Like, what led you to this moment?
Yeah, so growing up, of course, we went to church every Sunday, Baptist church. We never went to a smaller church, but it was always one of the mega churches here in Houston. So I've always known of God. I didn't know him for myself. So that's been the difference in the last few years of my adulthood. But yes, growing up, we always went to church, Sunday school, Easter programs, just like many of us, but again, I didn't know him for Casilya. I needed for him to know my name and us to have our own relationship besides just going to say, hey, we went to church on Sunday. So yeah, it's been a journey. People who know me now will always say that I've always been amazing, always been inspiring, but they don't know. Like, I wasn't always internally this person. So now I can actually say, yes, I am amazing because I've done the inner work. So yeah, it's been a journey.
Was there like, I guess, what was the moment that started that inner work? Because I think, a lot of us are in that space of trying to figure out, how do I get to that next step, right? You feel stuck sometimes. You just feel stuck. What was a triggering point for starting to do some of that work?
Of course, I think my mom's passing was, I think, the final nail in the coffin. I think that was the test. But before that, I had already started to seek God for myself. My best friend was murdered tragically when I was in college in 2012. And before that, just childhood trauma. I've always been running away from just trauma. And I think that everyone, or most people who have similar stories for me, get to that point to where you don't quite want to give up, but you know that you need something to change. And I finally started reaching to the point to where I was just tired of being tired of being depressed, tired of having that mask on, like, oh, I'm happy, but inside I'm breaking, So I started to just seek. I'm like, I've tried to turn to friends, I've tried to turn to family. What's missing? God was that missing element. I was trying to fill voids, but he was the only one that was going to heal me. So yeah, I just reached that point of just wanting better and wanting more for myself. Yeah.
Awesome. And I love that you decided to kind of face the trauma, because I think that's another thing. Some people just continue to run. They never stop running. And so you think you're kind of getting away with it, but it always catches up in some capacity.
Always.
So I can definitely relate to that. We, my other organization that we work with Bravery Lives, that's what we work with. We're trying to help women through those difficult situations, through traumas, and say like, hey, let's not go around it, but let's try to get through it. And I feel like it makes all of the difference in our walk. And sometimes those things can just shake our faith. And some people end up leaving the faith altogether because we have that vision, exactly like what you said, like, I'm a good person. Why are bad things happening to me? So I think what you've said is really profound. Tell me a little bit about how God has like worked out a mission in you, or like put a purpose in you, and how it's kind of worked out in your life.
Yes. I want to say through my whole focus, I think the whole reason why I'm here is to offer hope. A lot of people say you're so strong, but I can't take credit for that. The reason why I'm strong is because in my weakest moments, God is the one that holds me up just enough. Sometimes it feels like just enough, right? To keep going. So as painful as my journey has been, I feel like it's a testimony to people that are struggling with faith. They're struggling with depression. They're struggling with what happens in the house stays in the house. Don't tell anybody. So masking that pain. So through my writing, all of my books, all of the organizations that I'm a part of, allow healing, allow conversation. It actually encourages that voice that we, sometimes people say, don't say anything, but no, we need to talk this out. We need to reflect. We need to, again, like you said, deal and get through this pain. So I have 3 published books, a children's book, a poetry book, and now a reflection journal. And even the children's book has a section for affirmation, reflection. I think it's important to just get all of that junk and heaviness out. So healing and hope, I think, are my complete mission and purpose through my writing.
That's beautiful. Tell us a little bit about those projects that you have, those 3 books. Tell us a little bit more, the title, what it's about, who it's geared towards.
Well, I actually have Dear King here, like close by. They're all kind of scattered in my library. So Dear King, this is Dear King. It's a children's book, and like I said, this was not my original idea of how I would be as an author. I thought I was going to stick to poetry or self-help, but I'm a mother. I have a son that is 6 years old, going on 7. Yes. So just him being, how do I say, in this world is scary. It's one thing when you have to care for yourself. It's another thing when you see everything that goes on in this world to care for another human being. And I knew, and I already know that he's going to have a journey of his own. It may not look just like mine, but he is going to have obstacles. He's going to have to endure and overcome. And so I started to reflect on my legacy. When I'm long gone, what type of projects do I want to leave behind? I need something here to where when someone feels like giving up, or they feel like, hey, I can't do this, or the world's too cruel or too heavy or too mean, I can read this and pick this up, and I can, reinstill that faith, that courage to keep going and to endure. So again, my children's book is amazing. It's gotten so much positive feedback. And then my poetry book is just a transparent journey for myself. So you get to know a lot about me with the little pink book. And my reflection journal from the concrete is more so about all of us healing together, pushing that writer's voice, that expression. And that theme is heal, deal, elevate, because I think those are the three elements you need. You have to deal with the past, the healing. You have to deal with the current and understand the cards that are in your hand, and elevating is taking those cards and pushing yourself to the next level based on whatever current circumstances you're facing. So, yeah.
You are speaking my language. Yes, this is so good. I love that concept, and I think it is so, so important. I think when we don't take the time to slow down and to heal, to bring ourselves to God, to understand our situations, we stop growing. We just stop growing. It's static, and I know we've all been there. We've had seasons where we're stagnant, and I know that we've seen people in seasons that are stagnant. And I think a lot of that has, our willingness to deal with stuff,
We have to face it. We have to face it.
So I love that you're doing that. And even I was looking through the children's book, Dear King, too, and I love that it is also kind of just focused on affirming Black boys, because that's something that is so needed as well. And they don't necessarily have the best images to look up to or to find there. And so I think that's just an important part of giving another part of a community a voice. And that's so important.
Absolutely. We have to protect. I mean, I realize too, because you can always have the victim mentality, like, why did this have to happen to me? But when I think about it, had I not faced certain things, being a brown skinned girl, or, a girl with kinky curls, or some of the trauma that I, had to overcome, how would I be able to be experienced enough to help other people through those same situations? So through anything that I do, whether it's my books, and I also have an organization called Gnosis, which is No Suffering in Silence, because I want to be able to have those tough conversations. Like, we experienced this and it didn't feel good. So how do we counteract that and make sure we're not giving this same toxic behaviors off to our seeds and their generation to come, So it's important. Yeah.
And we will drop the links down for that organization as well if you're interested in that. I know you have some other projects in there, because I was looking at your link tree and I was like, oh, let's look at this. So tell me, shout out some of those things. This is your chance to let us know what you do.
Yes, Maxine. So again, people will say, I guess I'm a woman of all trades, or jack of all of that. I don't know what terminology they use in 2020, but again, with me being an author, so I self-publish all of my books. I also have been a co-founder of a blossoming new company, S2S Press, with LaShawna Brown. So we're actually helping other up-and-coming authors through the publishing process. So if you're interested in writing a book, it's not just about me. I want to give people a voice who wouldn't necessarily get looked at because they may not have a famous last name, or they may not have, sponsors or all the networking tools, but hey, you have talent and you deserve for your talent to have a platform. So S2S Press with LaShawna Brown, we're hitting the ground running with that. Again, I'm a founder of Gnosis, the No Suffering in Silence initiative, which will help women and youth have a voice and have a safe, no judgment zone to where they can actually express, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. How do I get through this? And I also do photography here in Houston. So Mexican is, yes. It's a productive type of busy though. So I have no complaints.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I saw some of your photography too. We'll put a couple pictures up there in case anybody is interested. I think it's incredible. It's not to say that if you're not doing a million things that you're wasting your life away at all. I think everybody is called to certain things in certain seasons for certain times. So I don't want anybody to be comparing themselves to the women that are appearing on Strong Women series. But I think it is awesome to work out the gifts, the talents that God has put in our hands, right? So he's given us all things and he wants us to use it. And he doesn't want us to just return exactly what he's given us back. He wants us to multiply. And we know that from the parable, right, of talents. And so I love seeing kind of that drive that you have to continue to impact the world, to reach people, to deal with the tough stuff, to give people a voice. In so many ways, I can see it, like how our paths are aligned and why we kind of clash together on social media. So we're going to have to connect a little deeper after this.
Absolutely.
That is just so cool. Hey, if you were to think about, I know it's like kind of a big question, but if you were to think about your whole life, what is one thread, like a life lesson that you like definitely want to pass on?
Okay. I think similar to what we said before, good things are going to happen to good people, and very, very, very challenging things are going to happen to good people too. But it's all about a mindset shift. Like, you have to look at it as, this is here to strengthen me. This is here so that I can not depend on myself or depend on my best friend or depend on whoever, but to lean on God. And when you look at it that way, that it's not personal to you, right? That pain is not personal to you. You might be the only one that lost that specific person, but everyone has experienced loss. Everyone has experienced some type of trauma or some type of, downfall. So again, just knowing that pain and suffering is a part of life. Let it strengthen you. Let it heal you. Let it be your testimony so that you can help other people that look like you get through everything that they're going through. So just use everything, the good, the bad, the sunshine, the rain, and make a lesson and experience out of it.
Yeah, so great. Hey, what do you think is one, I guess, obstacle that people face in deciding to kind of go and do the work? Like, what is getting in people's way of doing the work?
Because it's hard. I honestly think that it's not easy. And when people realize that what's on the other side of myself, because that's really what's stopping you, you're stopping yourself. Nothing else is in your way. Once you start getting a taste of, okay, this is what I want, this is what I desire, you realize, hey, it's not easy. Hey, it's going to happen overnight. People are like, oh, I'll just stick with what I know. It's hard to let go of everything that's been programmed inside of you. And again, when it's not easy, a lot of people don't want to work that hard, but it's worth it. Yeah. When I tell you, I literally, Maxine, wrote a Facebook post. It was so short this morning, and it said, booked and kept by God. And I'm forever thankful, because who knew that a little girl from Houston, Texas, with everything that I've overcome, could sit here in the middle of a pandemic and smile and have peace and say, I've done the work and I continue to do the work, and it's worth it. It's so worth it. Just keep doing it, no matter how hard it is. Like, just keep going.
Love it. I could listen to you talk all day. I'm going to repeat and just encourage myself and all of that. So good. So, hey, I love asking people what they're reading, what they're listening to, what they're watching. So, because clearly you've got a lot in you, and I love that. So share, what kinds of things are you vibing with right now?
Vibing, yes. My quarantine and chill list is so book that I'm reading right now, and I'm actually on a virtual book club with this amazing guy, Robert Harper II. His book is actually on my profile as well. So Talk to Yourself. It's on Amazon. When I tell you, Maxine, you would love it, because we're like here already. So when I say it completely changed my thought process about life, about this walk of faith, and a lot of the things that I'm telling you now, I learned from reading that book and really applying it to my life. You know what I'm saying? Don't stand in my own way. God is rooting for you. You got to root for yourself. So Talk to Yourself by Robert Harper II. Podcast For Realness Sake by Kiera Pittman. Amazing. if you want to talk about the real, if you want to talk about something that peels the Band-Aid off and goes under the surface, For Realness Sake by Kiera Pittman. In TV, I don't get a lot of time to watch TV, but I was stuck on All American. I watched both seasons.
Oh, I saw that too.
And Becoming, of course, Michelle Obama.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it yet. Everybody keeps telling me, like, you got to see it. You got to see it.
Mm-hmm. You have to. You have to. She's amazing. So.
On All American, we have to watch. My husband's a former football player, so you know this is like reliving story days.
Absolutely.
Incredible. So hey, if people want to get in contact with you, find out more, what's the best way to do that?
So everything, I made it very simple. Everything is Sil The Writer. So SILthewriter.com is my website. Instagram, Sil The Writer. Facebook, Twitter, Sil The Writer. So yeah, just browse, connect with me. Obviously, I talk a whole bunch, so don't be scared to shoot me a DM and we can, connect. So yeah, everything's Sil The Writer.
Love it. And we'll drop the links there too so that you can connect with her. So this was awesome. It was incredible. I feel so empowered. I feel charged. I'm like, I don't know what I got to go do right now, but I got to go do it. So, thank you so much for joining me here today. And I'm looking forward to just like seeing more of your work and learning more about you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Maxine.
And hey, everybody, don't forget to hit subscribe on our YouTube channel, and you can follow us at strongwomen_of_God. Until next time, take care.